By now, everyone has heard about Oliver Anthony. If you listen to country music, folk music, you know who this guy is. He is a overnight sensation because of his smash hit Men North of Richmond. This guy is crazy popular right now, but he's already running into some trouble. And we are going to be talking about Oliver Anthony, excuse me, tonight. I've got my buddy Brice here with me. Brice, what's up? Make sure I say the right name, please. Holy hell. Don't want to do that again.
I mean, there's really only so much that I can keep track of with you at one time. But
there's
Anthony
so
Oliver, that sounds like something you'd order at the bar. I'll take an Anthony Oliver, too.
Yeah, it's almost like an Arnold Palmer. Very close to it.
I'll take one.
Right? Delicious. Actually, I can't stand Arnold Palmers. Either sweet tea or just lemonade for me.
I honestly don't know if I've had one.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you are in the chat right now, as always, super chats are welcome, not required, but very much appreciated. So just throwing that out there for y'all. Let me say hi to Dragonfly and Dr. Tim. What's up, y'all? So let's get right into this Oliver Anthony thing. I mean, okay, so here's the backstory. You don't really know a whole lot about Oliver Anthony, right, Brice?
Look, I'm just gonna say strong beard game. So
very strong.
Him.
Also, a ginger. I don't know how we feel about that, but
the beard game cancels it out.
It's okay. Fine. So, what about like Ed Sheeran? Do you like Ed Sheeran?
That's not much of a beard, if I recall.
Well, no, but he's a redhead, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't have any beef with redheads. I was born a redhead.
Oh, okay.
I'm Irish.
You're one of them.
Italian.
You're one of them.
A-horde.
Come on. Okay, so here's the backstory with Oliver Anthony, right? He did this song. He did a recorded performance of this song, Men North of Richmond. It's a very politically charged song. Talks about, being taxed up the wazoo by guys over in DC, right? That's who the Men North of Richmond is referring to. And everyone just latched onto this song immediately. He's all about the working class. He's kind of like, good old country boy type vibes. Just a simple man.
Just like Joe Biden.
No, oh God, come on, man! You don't have to bring him up. Let's not bring him into this conversation. Good Lord. But he used to be a farmer and a factory worker, and now he's this overnight sensation for his country / folk music, right? But he's already started to experience some controversy. It's all over the internet right now, and that's why I wanted to do this live stream with you, Brice, and kind of just go over what happened here, because there's a lot of accusations out there. There's a lot of different stories out there, but I managed to piece together a lot of what has been said by Oliver Anthony and this show that got canceled. Well, the venue where this show was canceled. So I figured we'd talk through it and just kind of see what your thoughts are.
Sure. Yeah, right. I vaguely saw things about him.
Okay.
I saw a few headlines, and so I watched the song, the music video, just today.
Okay, look.
2 hours ago.
Here's the guy that we're talking about. This is Oliver Anthony, right? I think this is an actual screen grab from the live recording of Men North of Richmond that went super viral. I'm pretty sure this is that particular performance. I mean, he looks like a normal dude. He is a normal dude. I think that's what's so appealing about this guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a superstar dude.
Playing a nice resonator guitar.
Yeah. He's got. It's almost like that's not a dobro technically, is it? Dobro is. It's a resonator. Yep. That's what it's called.
Yep.
You would think I'd know that
by a musician that I know of.
I have so many different guitars, and I can't believe I didn't know that was considered a resonator. But anyways, yeah, I mean, he seems like a really genuine guy. He actually he performed recently at Joe Rogan's comedy club in Austin, the Comedy Mothership. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. I mean, this guy's all over the place. I mean, he truly is an overnight sensation. Like, he went from nobody having heard anything about him to all of a sudden like one of the most viral musicians in the world right now. When he released Men North of Richmond, it immediately went to #1 on the Hot 100. I mean, this guy is legitimately a star right now.
Yeah, I mean, his video has 65 million views, and it's been up for 1 month.
Are you serious? Dude,
Yeah.
why aren't we doing those kind of numbers on YouTube?
I think
going
we'll
on?
know the answer to that question.
I think you need to write a song, Brice. I think that's what needs to happen immediately.
I've
You
written
gotta-
songs.
Okay,
Just won't
well,
sing
not
them.
like this one. Okay, I'm saying you need to write a song like this one. Okay, just come up with something.
I wrote a blues
Let's
song.
throw it out there.
for-
I'll help
for
you get it
tech
recorded.
support. I wrote a tech support blues song.
I don't even know what to say about that. But that's probably very relatable. If you could throw some politics in there, it might take off. You never know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at this. Joyce Ashley says that she's from coastal Virginia, and that is so. Oliver Anthony is from Virginia. She's from coastal Virginia, and she says it's insane how big he is in coastal and central Virginia. It's insane how big he is all over the world. Like this guy,
Yeah.
like he's the real deal right now. Now, who knows how long it's going to last? You know, this might just be like 15 minutes of fame. Who knows? But I mean, he's huge right now, certifiable. So he was supposed to play a show at this venue in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm pretty sure I've got a picture of it. Yeah, there it is. This is the venue in Knoxville, Tennessee he wanted to play, or he was going to play, scheduled to play, called Cotton-Eyed Joe, which the name, a little problematic. I think we might need an update there. What do you think, Brice? Is that cool? Is it not cool?
We're not going to get into the origins of
Okay.
what that means because
think-
I've heard
I
a
think that's
couple of
safe.
different versions of what that means.
Yeah.
And we're just going to say that that's a great song to play when you're cheering your team on, or it's like a 15-minute timeout or whatever it is. And that
Why
you
not,
play
right?
That song says, go to the bathroom, get a beer, come back, and the game will be going.
That really is your cue. If you're at any type of sporting event, now's your time. Now's your
The
time
only
to
other
go
time-
stand in the crazy bathroom line.
The only other time I've heard it played is at I used to do photography at children's competitions, and
I don't know if you want to make that public, but sure, why not?
I was paid to be there
Even worse,
by
dude.
the parents.
Actually, no, it would be worse if you were paying to be there.
Yeah,
I take that. Yeah, I take it back.
exactly. But this is a very popular cheer and dance song.
Okay. Well, there you go. So this Cotton-Eyed Joe song is very popular. Maybe not. Maybe it's not problematic. It has some weird origins, but whatever. It's a catchy tune. It's got there's like a whole little line dance that you can do to it, I think, as well. Right?
I personally don't need to ever hear it again.
Okay.
That's what happens when you go to these.
People love it. Lisa
competitions for
Bailey
4 or
is in
5
the
years in a
chat
row.
saying she loves the song. I don't know if she's talking about Richmond, North of Richmond, or Cotton-Eyed Joe, but either way, she loves the song. Okay, so Oliver Anthony was scheduled to play a show at Cotton-Eyed Joe in Knoxville, Tennessee, right? And then there was a disagreement with the managers of the venue. I've got a video of Oliver Anthony talking about this and kind of giving his whole take on what went down. So I'm going to play that, and we'll just watch this through, and then I want to see what you think about his statement, Brice, because it's kind of interesting. You ready?
All right. Yep.
All right, here we go.
On the side of the road and make this video. My adrenaline's pumping, man. I'm pissed off right now, and don't buy Cotton-Eyed Joe tickets for $99 a piece, and sure as hell don't buy VIP passes for whatever bullshit price they're on. I have a buddy of mine who's not a booking agent. He's a friend of mine. He's a full-time plumber, and I'm trying to hire him full-time as my booking agent. And he agreed to this show, I guess, without asking for what the ticket prices are. Don't pay $100 for a ticket. That's horseshit. If we've got to cancel the venue and play somewhere else, we will. I didn't agree to it, and I don't want you to pay it. So please don't. I'm just trying to get the word out now. I don't know when the event got posted, but just.
So there you go. He is upset about how much Cotton-Eyed Joe is charging for tickets to his show, right? He's not happy about this. He's already telling people don't buy tickets to this show. If they continue to have these high price tickets, we're going to cancel the show, right?
If I was the bar owners, I would reach a compromise and I would offer like a $50 bar tab. If you paid $100, here's a $50 bar tab. Make it happen, But that's
just so
my,
people get like a perceived discount on these overpriced tickets. Overpriced
Well,
according to Oliver Anthony.
Yeah, it's either give them their money back, which once a bar has money, or an event, that's not event show. What am I trying to say? Event venue.
Right.
They generally don't want to give money back. But
True.
if you can offer something like we'll put it on your tab or something, I feel like that would be a good compromise.
We'll throw some free beers in. I mean, that's a
Take
nice
that
gesture,
money,
right?
give it to Oliver for a T-shirt, something. I don't know. Make it happen. There's easy compromises because it's $100.
There's ways to make it work, is what you're saying.
$50 more than what he wants the tickets to be sold. It's not $300. It's not $200.
Well, the VIP tickets were $200. And he's saying he wants these tickets to be like $25, $30, no more than $40. That's kind of his take on it. Well, yeah. I mean, so we're gonna get into more of his statement. So that was the first video, kind of addressing the issue that Oliver posted, right? And he's obviously upset. He's using some pretty colorful language, describing how he feels about the situation, right?
2023.
But I mean, it's kind of like Lisa said. He seems genuine, right? He's salt of the earth guy. He even talks about how the guy that booked this show for him is a buddy of his that's a plumber that he's trying to hire on full time. I mean, that's one of the things that everyone has said about Oliver Anthony is he like represents the working man, right? That's why they love him. It's music for the working man. He's all about the working man. And I mean, people just have gravitated to that. So he's upset, right? Saying, I'm gonna cancel the show if I have to. People shouldn't have to be paying this much for tickets. We don't want people to pay this much for tickets, right? Which is it's kind of wild when you think about it. Like you think about how much it cost for a ticket to go see Blink-182 when they were here in Austin. I mean, I think Dr. Tim's still in the chat. Dr. Tim actually went to that show. I can't remember, Dr. Tim, how much you paid. If you're still there, drop that figure because it was an insane amount of money to go see Blink-182 in Austin. It was wild.
There are so many, like, because of our background. Now, me more so than you, I haven't been to very many concerts.
Okay.
And now I enjoy, all these different bands and musicians. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to go see them live. And, okay, well, do I want to be so high up that I can barely see the stage?
Right. Yeah. Like up in the nosebleeds, not necessarily.
Right. Or do I want to buy something that's going to take me 6 months to pay off? It's crazy. I mean, I didn't even get to see Taylor Swift. Are
you a Swiftie? I didn't know that about you, Brice. I did not realize.
I'm not.
Okay.
But I admire her mass entrepreneurial spirit. The fact that she gave $150,000 bonus to all of her truck drivers.
That is cool.
She's
for
I
the
even
people, supposedly.
I heard a comedian that was like not into her at all, and he took his daughters and he came back and he's like, greatest performance of all time. And I was like,
really?
He was like, he literally said better than Beyonce.
Wow.
Up there with a Michael Jackson show. He's like, it was crazy. And I'm like, and I've seen some clips. I'm like, it looks like this is somebody that puts everything into it. So,
well, we know Oliver Anthony wasn't going to be putting on a show like Taylor Swift, right?
No.
But people want to see him. People really, really want to see him. He's like the hottest commodity in country and folk music right now. So he absolutely could be charging a ton of money for tickets, but he doesn't want to. He wants these tickets to be affordable. And I think that's very admirable. I respect that. I really do respect that.
What makes it even more admirable is, from my understanding, an artist is going to make most of their monies these days at the concert. They make their money from ticket sales, from merch sales, from selling the physical media themselves directly to the fans, because artists are not making money with the streaming services. They didn't
even make money off of record deals either.
No.
I mean, Kurt Cobain talked about that when Nirvana was still around, that they didn't make anything off of the records.
Yeah,
they were always making money off the shows.
The best thing you can hope for these days is that somebody wants to use your song in a commercial, a TV show, or a movie. That's
very true.
License some really
getting those licensing rights. Absolutely. Yes. By the way, Joyce said that Reddit indicated that tickets to be in the pit for Blink-182 were $1,000. Now, I don't know if that's like scalper prices or what that is, but that's insane. Compared to the $100 to $200 that Oliver Anthony isn't happy about. Okay, so he makes this statement, right? Obviously just destroying Cotton Eye Joe's, telling his fans don't buy these tickets, right? And so then Cotton Eye Joe comes out with a statement, and this is what they said. Okay, so here's their statement. It's on the screen right now. I can't read it because it's way too small, so I'm going to pull it up so I can read this out. Okay. So Cotton Eye Joe said, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for the customers of the world famous Cotton Joe, is what they said. Cotton Eye Joe, I think is what they meant. Most times we say a show has been canceled due to circumstances beyond our control. Well, we are canceling the Oliver Anthony show under our full control. All refunds will be made in the next few business days to your original form of payment. The Men of Richmond contracted to play the Cotton Eye Joe for $120,000 for 60 minutes. After doing the math and knowing we can only hold approximately 1,500 people, paying the ticket website their fee to sell the tickets, paying the tax man, opening the Joe on a closed night, we set the ticket price to break even and bring our customers a show we thought would be fun. To our talent agency and promoter friends that follow us, be careful booking the Man of Richmond. That is a pretty inflammatory statement, I think. What do you think, Brice?
You know, I'm going to put this down to what he said, that his friend, the plumber, is the person that he's getting to do this. And with early onset success like this, you know, this was an opportunity. All of the things that they say sound valid as a business owner, you know?
Okay.
It's like, okay, I get it. You do want to break even. You need to chalk this up as a miscommunication. And like I was saying, try and come to a compromise.
Try to salvage something here, right?
Right. Like, and I don't know, you know, there's always things that we don't know. Did he call and talk to them himself and be like,
two sides to every story,
like
right?
This.
Yep.
I didn't want to do, you know, I'm even on the side of maybe that Oliver Anthony might say, we made a mistake, but we did agree to do it. You know,
so he did respond to this statement from Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, let's hear it.
He does respond to it. Yeah. And we'll get into that here in a second. I wanted to read Mrs. T's comment. I hope he won't be canceled. Just bought my ticket for $25 in Knoxville on the 29th. He's for the working class for sure. Very interesting that he's already rescheduled this show. I did actually know about this, and I've got like some more details on how he went about rescheduling that show. But you know, people are still very much wanting to see this guy. I don't think he's canceled at all. I think he's just in the middle of a little bit of a disagreement with one particular venue. But the fact that this venue said, "Hey, be careful booking Oliver Anthony," that to me, that's kind of that crosses the line a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, they're throwing shade where it's not necessary. Mistakes were made potentially on both sides of things.
Right.
You know, it's
and he even said it in his initial video. Look, someone else booked this show. I wasn't aware that ticket prices were going to be this expensive, you know, and then proceeded to say, don't buy them. Right. Okay. Yeah. So Cotton Eye Joe releases that, in my opinion, very inflammatory statement, essentially warning people not to book Oliver Anthony. And this is how Oliver Anthony responds. And this, I think, really is a class act. So let me read this one off. Cotton Eye Joe claims we are charging people $120,000 per show. They have since turned the comments off, but I wanted to clarify. The most I've ever made on a show is $35,000. We've done 2 shows in North Carolina that were completely free and have another free show scheduled September 23rd in Kentucky for a cancer benefit. Okay. That's, I mean, it kind of knocks what Cotton Eye Joe says right on their ass. My booking guy handled all of this on the phone with them, and I realized there are 2 sides to every story, but I personally talked with Cotton Eye Joe on the phone, so he did talk to them personally about not charging extra for the meet and greet. That's why I was so upset seeing them charging $200 for it, meaning the meet and greet. I felt like they suckered us into playing there just so they could make extra money off of y'all. That being said, I wish them the best. All the fault ultimately is with me. So he's taking accountability for this. I should have been more thoroughly involved in the booking, and I should probably consider using a professional consultant in this area. There's no reason why tickets should have went up for sale before a contract was signed, which is another interesting little tidbit there, right? The good news is We have already found multiple other options for $25 admission venues in Knoxville that can accommodate more people the same week this show was scheduled for. We will still be having a good time in Knoxville soon. I'll share an updated post once tickets are for sale for the new venue. We are working out the details now. So he kind of claps back a little bit, but at the same time, what I really liked about that statement was he's taking responsibility for some of this misunderstanding and disagreement.
Absolutely. No,
I mean, I like that.
That is amazing. There's the only part of that statement that I was like, but I don't know what he means when he said $35,000 is the most he's ever made at a show, and made money is.
I think that probably
different
is referring
than charging.
No, I think that's probably like his
The
appearance
total
fee. That's what he would charge a venue to show up, right?
Okay.
I think that's
I don't
probably
know
what he's
enough
talking about.
Contracts, like you get paid X to show up. Do you also get paid part of the door?
In a
Probably
situation
not.
like this, probably not.
Yeah, the
Probably
venue
not.
is going to make that money back by ticket sales and beer.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the whole concept, right? And typically speaking, that's part of the contract that you sign with the venue is this is my guarantee, $35,000. Y'all are going to charge X for tickets, right? And you keep all of your food and beverage sales. And we have the right to sell merch at the show, et cetera, et cetera.
There's zero problem with him canceling because there was no contract signed. Because we all know if they had sent the contract,
Yeah.
he would have looked at it and been
Mhm.
like, no, I'm not signing this.
Nope.
This is what needs to be changed.
Correct.
But those guys wanted to get, and it's funny, like, when was this supposed to be? Tonight?
No, this isn't until the end of October.
Okay.
Mrs. T mentioned
the
that
end of October?
the show was supposed to be, well, actually, I don't know if it's October 29th or September 29th. I honestly don't know. If Mrs. T is still in the chat, she could probably
29th.
clarify.
Even if it's September 29th, go back to the one where you had the event canceled on the picture.
Oh, yeah. Does it show the date on there? Oh, you're right. September 27th. So this is for it's now scheduled for September 29th. Yeah.
So here's what this is. This is a venue that got overexcited and we're like, we're going to make so much money.
This is going to be the biggest
Because
show of the year.
The thing is, the way that this guy's trending right now, he could roll into town on the 26th and then would be sold out for the 27th. There's
Honestly,
no reason
he could probably sell out a stadium or a theater at this point.
But I'm saying there's no reason to rush ticket sales, even though it's just like 2 weeks out.
Right.
Somebody who's trending so hard and he's in the right part of the country. This isn't New York. This isn't California. He is amongst his fan base. You don't need to rush ticket. Who does before the contract is signed? Screw those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Over it.
Well, it's pretty interesting to me how Cotton Eye Joe responded, like basically just attacking him immediately.
I mean, is it
going
interesting
completely on the offense, taking no accountability whatsoever, and then in his response to their post, he absolutely says, "Hey, ultimately, I'm at fault here." That to me shows who the bigger person is in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm voting for him in whatever election.
Yeah? Okay. I love it, dude.
We'll just put it down. Write him in.
I mean, that's the whole attraction to a guy like Oliver Anthony, right? He's not this big time star. He's not about trying to make the most money. Very true. That's a great point. Yet. He's not about trying to make the most money or anything. He really does just want to put on a good show for his fans at an affordable price. And I think that's highly, highly admirable.
Absolutely. I mean, I get it that these ticket prices do need to vary, and there are costs that have to be covered, and there are a lot of people, especially with a big band, that need to be paid. I don't know how in the heck you pay a band like, Boston. There's like 20 people on stage. Who's getting paid what up there? Holy crap,
So, I mean, most of my experience in like booking bigger talent is in comedy, right? I mean, I played in bands for a long time when I was younger, but we were playing shows for next to nothing. And they were always, bar gigs, just kind of like ambient music and that kind of stuff, right? So I've never really experienced the high end of, music booking, music entertainment booking. I don't really know even what it's called. I guess talent booking for music, right? So I don't really know how all that works.
Artist.
But I can say that there is a big country. I don't want to name drop or anything because I don't want to reveal like, inside information on any of this stuff. But they're a bigger band. It's a group, right? So it's one guy and he's got his band that he typically travels with, just to book the front man of this country band, just the front man. So not his band. So he would show up and essentially play acoustic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was $75,000. And this was not during, I'm going to say Panorama. It wasn't during the Panorama, but it was like at the very tail end. So artists were like kind of desperate to get out there and perform because venues weren't really booking like they had been
right
prior to the Panorama, right? So $75,000 just for the front man to come and perform acoustic. And I mean, this is a very popular country act. I will say that I'm referring to right now. But they don't really have the heat that Olivery Anthony has behind him right now.
I hope that this like sticks and isn't just like a couple of months
For Olivery Anthony, or are you saying for the industry
Oliver
in general?
Anthony.
Oh yeah.
Anthony. But I mean, the entertainment industry is out of control with prices.
True.
It's wild as far as what's going on in general across the board as far as artists and everything. So I don't know. It's way out of my wheelhouse.
See, I think, Cotton Eye Joe said, be careful about booking Olivery Anthony. I think it's actually the opposite. I think artists need to be careful about where they choose to do their shows, because there's some really good, and I can speak to this as a comedian. And I've done shows, in a lot of different places. And I will absolutely say, there's some venues that you perform at that all they're trying to do is make their money, and they don't really care about the fans. They don't care about the artists. They just care about making their dollars.
Yeah, and look,
right?
I have apologized again and again for booking you for Davey's story hour at the local library, reading to those middle schoolers, and it won't happen again. So stop bringing it up.
Yeah, can you just not do that anymore, Brice? That'd
just
be
let
awesome.
it go.
It's not appropriate for me to be reading these stories to kids. I curse way too much. It's just not right.
Your ad-libbing was not appreciated.
The single mom seemed to love it, but it's really not appropriate for the kids. Marsha, I appreciate this comment from Marsha. He gives his whole story and where he wants all of his fame to go on the Joe Rogan episode that he did. I mentioned that early in the live stream that he did the Joe Rogan Experience, had an appearance, and then went and did a show at the Comedy Mothership. And Marsha's right. It was a really good episode. A lot of people kind of, I'm not going to say they criticized him, but maybe a little bit criticized him or questioned him after his appearance on the Joe Rogan show, because they just said he didn't seem as genuine on the podcast episode as he did when he was like playing his music and just, speaking from the heart. But I'll also say, man, when you go on a podcast as big as the Joe Rogan Experience, there's going to be some nerves involved there. And he's brand new at all this too. Like I said, he is truly an overnight sensation. I mean, there's people on the internet that are saying he's actually a plant, which is wild, right? There's some crazy theories going around the internet right now that this guy is actually just a government plant, just trying to distract us all from what's going on in the political world right now, which I think is maybe they could be right. Who knows? Who really knows what's happening in the world today? But that seems a little far-fetched to me. But be that as it may, I don't blame the guy at all for maybe struggling a little bit on the Joe Rogan Experience. I haven't watched the episode, so I really don't know. I can't give my personal take, but just based on what other people are saying, if Joe Rogan called me up tomorrow and said, "Davey, I want you on my podcast," I would be a disaster. I'd be a wreck.
Yeah, first you'd throw up.
I'd throw up a little bit. I'd cry a little bit. I'd do a lot. I'd do a lot of things a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it would be definitely, that was a big deal. It's nice that he went on that podcast and not like, I don't know, has he done some of you in the chat, has he done any like Good Morning America or any of that stuff? I have no idea.
I haven't seen him do any of like the late night appearances or the morning show appearances. I haven't really seen him do any of that. But I'll also say that, Joe Rogan is kind of he's kind of at the cutting edge of bringing in these kind of fringe guests that are up and coming, or they're just getting started, and really giving them a high amount of exposure. I think the way that started was Joe Rogan actually reposted that Richmond, North of Richmond performance.
Oh, yeah.
I think he reposted it on his social media, and that's why, or that is part of the reason why it went so viral.
And I'll say
it's because
this,
of Joe Rogan.
The chat from something junkie. I can't.
Adrenochrome junkie.
Adrenochrome junkie.
I probably shouldn't have said that.
They also will try and take like a percentage of the merch sales as well.
Mm-hmm.
I dipped into the South for a minute. As well, they take some merch sale.
Y'all.
And yeah, and when I heard that, I learned about that from I do have some friends and musicians. I was like, wait. They they're paying you X amount of money, and then you have to pay them part of your merch percentage.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That does happen. I'm sure that's not the case with a guy like Oliver Anthony, but yeah, I know that does happen.
No, man, I've heard it's happened with some big names too.
Really?
It's one of those things where I want to tell people, it's like, I feel like the artists have all the power.
They should.
You don't have to agree.
They're the talent. They're the draw. They're the attraction. Yeah. But at the same time, everyone's trying to get booked, So maybe that's what it is. It's like, well, if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to sign our contract and let us take our pound of flesh, there's another band that'll do it. I mean, realistically, what has to happen is artists have to band together and say, hey, we're not gonna give in to these crazy demands. We're not gonna let you overcharge our fans for tickets. We're not gonna let you, try to price gouge us and price gouge your customers. It's not going to happen. If you're going to do that, well, none of us are going to play at your venue, and that could possibly make a change.
I say that you and I put on a music festival, and you have to show up with your tax return, and there'll just be a cap.
I thought you were going to say that there'd be like if you had higher income, you had to pay more for tickets. If you had lower income, you could potentially get in free.
I mean, that already happens, basically. People jump fences and people buy VIP tickets and whatnot. But you show on your taxes, like, I only make X amount of years. Like, yeah, you can come in. This concert is X amount of money.
I like it.
A reverse Fire Festival, if you will.
You're starting to, dude, did you hear that they're doing Firefest 2.0 and it's already sold out? I'm so serious. I mean, I know we're a little off topic here, but yes, they are doing Firefest 2.0, and apparently it's already sold out.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, uh-oh.
Okay, I can hear you. Okay, it's back.
Okay. The headphones cut out for a second.
Can we just put out there that we're going to put on a Fire Festival 2.5 and just take all the money and just be like, oops.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Just charge like $50,000 or something.
Okay. That's a little crazy.
Look, if we're ripping off rich people, and we'll have the popular vote behind us.
This is interesting from Marsha. I thought it was crazy that he convinced I'm assuming meaning Oliver Anthony, convinced his wife to sell the house and everything they own to go live in a camper in the woods. I don't know anything about Oliver Anthony's backstory. I'm going based purely on what happened with Cotton Eye Joe and his response to it, Cotton Eye Joe's response, and then his rebuttal. So that's kind of interesting. He sold all of his worldly possessions essentially to go live in the woods. I like this guy. I like it. He's off the grid. That's cool. That's cool to me.
I knew one friend that had that capability. I came from a pretty blue collar background, and you acquire things like, okay, these are my things. I spent money on them, and I must retain them. These are the things that I wanted to spend money on. But I have a friend that went through a lot of random ups and downs, and I remember him saying, I think, oh, and he and I are huge movie fans. It's like, oh, I took all my DVDs and I turned them in for like $40 of gas money. And I was like,
whoa, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, wow,
but hey, that's the minimalist approach,
Oh,
and,
well,
I mean, there's a whole movement behind that too.
He knew he could. It's like, okay, in a couple of years, he could just buy the movies again if he really wanted to.
Sure, why not?
But yeah.
I wanted to. Chosen Nightwolf said, I can't say I blame him, Davey. He's got every right to be upset. I 100% agree. 100% agree. As an artist, you should be able to set the terms for your shows. You're the talent. You're bringing the fans. You should 100% be able to dictate all of that. So I agree. He does have every right to be upset. I think, there was probably a little bit of a miscommunication between his group, or really his friend that booked the show, and Cotton Eye Joe. And he wasn't as involved as he needed to be. And so that's why he ended up with $100 to $200 tickets when he really wanted the tickets to be more in the $25 range, obviously. And he's rescheduled his show now. I think it's at the Knoxville Conference Center, if I'm not mistaken. And as someone else commented, I can't remember who it was. Was it Mrs. T? Yeah. Mrs. T commented that she bought her $25 ticket. It's still happening on September 29th. So he got it all resolved. Yeah, I really like this too, Shivers. That Anthony Oliver he's not backing down, and he's outspoken. He's very candid and direct about how he feels. I have zero problem with that. And he went and found a solution too. That's the other thing I really like here, is that he didn't just hang his fans out to dry. He's still doing a show. He's making it affordable like he wanted it to be. I think that's extremely admirable. I think that gives this guy a whole lot more credibility and a whole lot more love from his fan base.
Look, they threw him under the bus, and he very easily could have just said, there was no contract. No contract, then I can back out. He said, this was my mistake because I didn't set the right expectations, parameters with the person that I am booking.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no contract. That's it. That's it in my head. It's like,
right.
I do kind of wonder, not that it matters that much, but like, I wouldn't mind asking him is like, if you had seen the contract or some, I don't know how to word that. But he wouldn't have signed it. Like if it was a signed contract and he suddenly made a change of pace, then that would
he just changed his mind after signing a contract. Then I would have a little bit of an issue with that.
That's not the case.
You can't renege on a contract if you just messed up and didn't review it thoroughly enough, or you just didn't understand what was happening because you delegated this responsibility. Yeah, I think then you've got a little bit of a problem and you don't really have a leg to stand on at that point. But no contract was ever signed, so he has every right to pull out of it. Absolutely. I wanted to go back to a comment from Danny though, because Danny said that she likes his song, but doesn't think it's any more amazing or meaningful than any other working man songs. I think the marketing behind him and the viral video has pushed him above other artists.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
What from today?
Yeah.
And then go back. When was the last working man song that was popular, that perhaps from a new artist, not from Bruce Springsteen or Bob Dylan, or
there's been a few Tyler Childers. He's got kind of that working man mentality as well behind a lot of his songs. Mm-hmm. The one that really comes to mind for me is the Dropkick Murphys. Now I know they're not as recent, right? They're a little bit older, but those guys were all loud and proud blue collar workers. That's what they talked about it all the time.
Yeah. I think that this just is something that's hitting. If you look at his words and you look at some of the other working class words, he's speaking to current events.
Yes.
Because a lot of blue collar songs, either they were speaking to current events at the time in the 60s and 70s, and thus people are like, oh, nostalgia, and but it's not hitting home, versus this song, which has got some very specific call outs on exactly what's going on right now.
It's striking a chord.
That's where it's hit, because a lot of the other working man type songs, they're more of a generic feel, a lot of country songs talk about, hard working and,
hard work. My dog's gone. My girl's gone. My truck's broke. Yeah.
Don't do that. Stop. Somebody recently told me the old joke about, what happens if you play a country song backwards? And I'm like, I know that you're new to music because we came from the same type of background, but please don't ever tell that joke again. It's not even close to being original.
Here's my thing, about about Oliver Anthony that I really like about his lyricism, his music. He understands the art of subtlety here too, right? Because what was that recent? I think it was Jason Aldean that released that song "Try That in a Small Town," right?
Oh,
and
God.
created all this controversy, created a lot of memes too, a lot of very strong opinions, right? That was kind of an in-your-face approach.
That was very Toby Keith.
Very much so. Yeah,
That was
and it was in your face. It was kind of a little like over the top too, you know. But with
if you just think about like, yeah, there's two different elements. If you're looking at even just country music, because like during 9/11 we had the Alan Jackson song.
oh yeah, uh-huh.
And then here comes Toby Keith.
Yep.
It's like, here we go.
And
It had that
so,
bit of a mentality.
There's been political songs for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But the subtlety that Oliver Anthony captured with Men North of Richmond, I think was, I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but it like I said, it struck a chord with people, and people just latched onto that because he wasn't talking about one side or the other. He was just talking about politicians in general are just out here screwing us all over, right? And I think that's why everyone can get behind it. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. There's stuff that he says in that song, and it's like, yeah, that's relatable, you know?
I am seeing so many celebrities or artists or whatever slowly getting over the extremism.
Yes.
I think
kind of moving towards the center, right?
They're like, we're tired.
Mhm.
Can we please have logic and sense
Right.
for the love of God?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, it's interesting that Oliver Anthony went on Joe Rogan's podcast, because Joe Rogan is very much that way. I mean, he has a lot of controversial opinions, but as far as where he stands politically, it's pretty much, I mean, I would say he leans more to the left, but it's pretty close to like dead center, you know?
Yeah. Well, what is considered now, because both sides they just keep moving further and further away.
Well, yeah.
And everybody else is like, wait,
hold up.
And here's the thing. The percentage of people that is at the extreme is a very small percentage.
Oh, we know that. Yeah, of course.
They get 90% of the airtime.
Mm-hmm.
And so people think that there's more of them, I guess. But it's like, no. And the best thing to do is to not apologize.
Right.
Just
and
like,
I think
whatever.
I think that's the reason that I liked Oliver Anthony's statement so much, is that he didn't apologize for what he said in the initial video, right? Never apologized at all, except apologizing to his fans indirectly that they thought that they were going to have to pay that much money to see him in concert, right? He took accountability, but he did not offer an apology for saying exactly how he felt about the Cotton Eye Joe venue. This is another interesting one from Mel. We actually didn't talk about this, Mel, so thank you for pointing this out. Oliver Anthony also did a podcast with Jordan Peterson and explained a lot of the reasoning for why he's doing what he's doing right now. So that's another good listen. You know? Oh, here comes Ping Trip. Hang on, we got to address Ping Trip. So this is a buddy of mine, Brice. Ping Trip is very viral across all social media platforms, doing edits of Joe Rogan. He says that Oliver Anthony's a goofball, asked for $120,000 to do a show, then expect the tickets to be $25, and then he makes a farting noise, which is kind of signature Ping Trip stuff. Well, actually, Ping Trip, when we go and read the statements from Oliver Anthony, he didn't ask for $120,000. The most he's ever asked for is $35,000, and it was just a miscommunication between the guy that booked the show and the venue. So, hate to say you're wrong, because you know I love you, but you're dead wrong, Ping Trip. Nice try.
Or 4 Bitcoin.
What?
Said or 4 bit. $35,000 or 4 Bitcoin.
Or 4
your choice.
Bitcoin. I got you. Well, actually, no. I think Bitcoin's like $26,000 right now.
It is.
So yeah, actually, that's the 120. Yeah, there you go. There's your 120 right there. But always love seeing Ping Trip, and he's of course got to make his retort. Just a simple BS. Wow, Ping Trip. I show you the facts. I show you the proof. and you still call BS. Unbelievable, dude.
The courage to stand up for what you believe in. I
This
applaud
is-
you, sir.
This is classic Pink Trip right here.
Lean
I'm
into
gonna
it.
tell you that right now, Brice. This is classic Pink Trip. Look, I like this from Mel as well. Oliver's trying to keep his music for himself and the fans. 100% agree with that. I think this guy really is genuine. I really do think this Oliver Anthony guy is genuine. Unbelievable Pink Trip. Saying the song sucked. Wow, dude. I mean, Brice, you listened to it, right?
I did.
you
I
think it
kind of
sucked?
want to read it.
I think
No.
Pink Trip. I think he's just being contrary right now. This
He
is
hates
kind of
nature.
he hates nature.
He doesn't like the fact that it was played in front of animals in a forest.
A lot of people don't know this about Pink Trip, but he's a huge communist.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
It's all
huge.
starting to make sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So just be careful. Be careful with Pink Trip. Davey and Brice destroyed by facts and logic. Yeah, Pink Trip just ruined us. I love it. But yeah, I really do like Oliver Anthony. I think he's the real deal. I think he's a genuine dude based on, the limited research that I've done on him. I'm going to go watch the Joe Rogan episode. I'm also going to watch the Jordan Peterson episode just so I can confirm what I actually think about him. But just based on this, back and forth between him and Cotton Eye Joe, I have a ton of respect for the guy. Ton of respect for him.
Absolutely. Now, if he could write a song specifically addressing the needs of tech support workers and call center workers,
Okay. I
would
know
really
that's like that. That's
reach
kind
a
of
whole new market,
that's the flag that you're flying, Brice. I know that's
underserved market.
it's a very important issue to you. The other thing that I wanted to mention, we're doing this live stream on my primary channel right now, but Brice and I are actually creating another channel where we're going to do more reaction type videos, more content like this. I'll tag the new channel in the description. But please, y'all, I would love for you to go and check that out. Subscribe to that channel. If you're looking for more just current events type content, news, entertainment, pop culture, trending stuff, and just comedy in general, go over to that channel. Give us a subscribe. We'll be posting some videos there very soon. Actually, we'll probably take some of the clips from this video, post it over there, just so that we can get some content going on the new channel. It's called Davey Jax Reacts, and it's going to be me
Dude,
and Brice and some special
thought-
guests just chopping up. What's that?
I thought we agreed it was going to be two guys in a tub. I had the whole setup.
Two guys, one channel. Is that what you thought it was going to be?
But in a tub, we were going to be in the bathtub. Okay, fine. I'll take it all down. It's not going to
Take it all down. I like this. Yes, actually, Shivers. I would love to talk to Jen and James from Fundy Fridays and do an interview with them. I know they were. Jen, actually, I know made an appearance on the Shiny Happy People documentary. We've got a lot more interviews coming up, still related to Shiny Happy People, fundamental Christianity, the cults that Brice and I grew up in, and a lot of other people experience. We did an interview with a gentleman about Jehovah's Witness, which is really interesting. We're doing an episode on the lost books of the Bible, and I'll just give this a little teaser too. A lot of people know who Josh Harris is. He wrote the book I Kissed Dating Goodbye and Boy Meets Girl. I am in touch with Josh Harris, and we'll be doing an episode with him as well, which should be extremely interesting because, I mean, Brice, I don't know about you, but I grew up on that book. That was my guide to girls.
I saw him live.
You saw him speak live? Wow. How much were those tickets?
No idea.
What would Oliver Anthony say about Josh Harris's ticket prices back in the day?
I have no idea.
But yeah, we'll be talking to him. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. We've got an episode with Lindsay Williams that I'm really excited about, where she, kind of dives a whole lot deeper on the relationship that she had with Bill Gothard and being a Gothard girl. So that's going to be really, really exciting. Can't wait for y'all to see that and just kind of hear your thoughts on.
If you want to be creeped out and
Lindsay shares.
uncomfortable, this is the episode for you.
That's the one. Yep. It is very, very weird what Lindsay Williams went through. I'm also, I also had I reunited, let's put it that way, with Laura Smith who I talked about in some of the early episodes of Surviving the Shiny Happy People Cult, the podcast series that Brice and I did. Laura Smith was on the documentary. She was featured very heavily on the documentary, telling her story and her experience living at the compounds and interacting with Bill Gothard and a lot of his staff members. But she and I actually knew one another. I mean, this was years and like probably 19 years ago, I would say. We knew each other, and then we kind of lost touch, but we met up recently, kind of reminisced about both of our experiences in the Shiny Happy People Cult. And I think we're going to be having a conversation as well about a day that Laura and I spent together, just kind of talking. Apparently this meetup that happened, like I said, like 19 years ago, was very different from what I recall. So that'll
should be a
interesting
short film. It'll be a double feature. It'll be a date with Davey, and then it'll be followed up by the main event, which is the East Coast road trip that we took.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah, we still need to talk about that. Also on the new channel, we're also going to be featuring some fun recurring segments. One of those segments is going to be my ex-girlfriend's opinion, where we'll bring on one of my ex-girlfriends to kind of give her take on whatever Brice and I are talking about. So that should be super fun as well.
You will not be meeting any of my ex-girlfriends. It's a short list.
So that'll just be me. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to be, more vulnerable. Really, I'm just doing it for the bit. That's the bottom line. But yeah, so going to be having a lot of fun on the new channel. Once again, I'll tag it in the description, but the name of the channel is Davey Jax Reacts. So check it out. I don't know if you can even find it right now because we haven't uploaded any content yet. But if you, I don't know, this channel is subscribed to it. So if you can look at the channels that I'm subscribed to, you'll be able to find Davey Jax Reacts. And you should be able to click on it directly in the description. But wow, I really like this Oliver Anthony guy. I think he's the real deal. I think he's a genuine dude, despite what Ping Trip says. I think he is he's for the people, and I think this whole exchange between him and Cotton Eye Joe and kind of I don't want to say like the blow up they had. It wasn't really a blow up. It was just like I'm not going to do the show if you're going to charge that much for tickets. But the way that Oliver Anthony handled it, I like this dude. I think he's got a bright future. And I think this is just going to create more love for him, what's happening right now and how he's insisting on treating the fans right.
We need to get more people on board with this whole like owning up when somebody admits that they made a mistake.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
And then letting them have that chance. Because there's been lots of times where people own up to a mistake and they still get burned to the ground.
Right.
It's like, this is genuine. He's like,
well, that's the other thing that I really liked about that statement, Brice.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I really liked about his statement was like you could tell that was directly from him. That wasn't written by a lawyer. That's something that he genuinely felt, and he put it out there to let people know, hey, this is what happens. This is what we're doing, how we're reacting to it, and here's the solution that we're working on. That's what I really like about it. You know, exactly. That's a real ass dude. And I respect it. I respect it a lot.
I'm going to go buy some overalls.
You're going to go buy overalls? And you're going to write your customer service song too, right?
Yep.
And we're going to make that go viral all over social media. Maybe we can get you on the Joe Rogan Experience talking about the woes of working in customer experience. Or customer service, I should say. I love it, dude. I think it's a great idea. We'll give it a shot. Brice, thanks for hanging out. Everyone that's watching, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the new channel. It'll be linked in the description. But we love you, and we'll see you soon. Later y'all.